All right, today is Monday, November 12th, 2018. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes CSI implementation group. So this is the last week for Kubernetes 1.13 before code freeze. Code freeze officially takes effect on Friday, November 16. That means we have until end of day Thursday, November 15 to get any PRs in that we need for this release. Before we jump into the release blocking items, or the items that we're tracking for this release, let's finish up what we have pending for the 1.12 release plan. We have a couple of end-to-end tests that needed to get in. One is for snapshots. I think Xing is in China, so she is not going to be able to give us an update today. But we can take a quick look at that PR and see what the current status is. Looks like it's not in a very happy state. And it looks like it was still waiting for the correct RBAC rules. Okay, looks like those changes haven't been made yet. Next up is the topology end-to-end tests. Is Chang on the line? Yes. Chang, do you have any updates on this?
Yeah, I just submitted a PR yesterday.
Okay.
We'll post the link right now.
Sweet. All right, cool. So we'll take a look at that PR and hopefully get that merged soon. Next up, let's go over the 1.13 items. First up are the tasks that are tied to GA. It would be great to have Hemant on this call. Can somebody ping Hemant to have him join this call? I'd love to get a status update on where we are with this. Chang, would you be able to do that?
Yeah, I'll ping him real quick.
Cool, thank you. I think he's pretty responsive on Slack right now. I was chatting with him.
Sounds good.
And it looks like the blocking issue that we had from Jordan is looking good. And he's just addressing the last of the feedback. So this is overall looking good. All right, cool. Next up is kubelet device plugin registration mechanism. Vlad?
Yeah, so I've been engaging Renault on that last PR. The previous PR got merged.
Okay.
We got one more PR, which has to do with a scanning of the directory. So I've updated that PR this morning, given them some suggestions. So I'm trying to get that locked down as soon as possible so we can get Fish to take a look at it.
Okay.
And then the other GAPR, I have to do a rebase. It fell out of sync, so I just need to update it to rebase it. But that PR has been approved by Fish. So we're making progress.
Okay. Could you put in the PR numbers in here?
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
Cool. So this one is green, and the other two are in progress. Cool. And no major concerns from Node or anybody else in terms of blocking?
No. I mean, the only slight pushback we got was the comment from Vish.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. That looks good. And it looks like Hemant was able to join us. Thanks, Hemant.
Yeah, sorry I was late. Yeah.
No worries. We just wanted to get a quick update on the moving volume attachment API object and CSI persistent volume source to V1. Looking at that PR, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it I addressed like Jordan has. I pushed the update on Friday. I have update now. There's only one comment that Jordan addressed all this, by the way. Just one, that is the testing
Perfect.
and the problem there's. Yeah, so I'm just addressing that, and then it should be
Cool.
good.
And it sounds like the big concern we had about not being able to update the callers should not be a blocker for this either.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We have integration tests in place that study exercise even endpoint.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Ahmad. And then the CSI kubelet deregistration is done. We'll need to remove PR. All of this is done, right?
For the deregistration, it's done.
Okay, cool. CRD installation mechanism is merged. The outstanding item here that I would like to open new for this week is I was discussing with David Zhu on Friday, how do we actually enforce that these CRDs are installed or not installed? And one recommendation that he had was to tie it to CSI initialization. So once we move these objects to beta, which we're planning to do this quarter, what we can do is add in code. Let me put it down here. Add code to check for CRDs before initializing CSI, and fail to start if not installed.
Is that going to be part of kubelet or something?
So it would be part of kubelet, exactly. And kubelet would fail to start if CRD not installed. And so the idea here is that we make it a very, very explicit option that if you want to use CSI, you have explicitly enabled CSI, which we're doing by default now, then we require these CRDs. These CRDs must be installed. Unfortunately, we don't have any way to control every single deployment mechanism that exists out there in the world. But what we can do is basically fail them and give them a nice fat error saying, hey, you need to make sure this add-on exists and is installed.
What's the argument to tell kubelet that I want CSI if we're not going to have a feature gate anymore?
So there will be a feature gate. We should not remove that feature gate. So the CSI feature gate that exists today, I think it's part of the PR, this PR. There's a global feature gate for CSI. What we should do is keep that feature gate and
yeah, but isn't the definition of being GA that there's no feature gate? That's what I'm confused about.
The purpose of having the feature gate is that I could want a I could ask for a version of Kubernetes and not use CSI, right? I have some slimmed down thing that I'm running on an ARM, microcontroller, and I don't really care about CSI. Being able to disable CSI would be useful.
I would have assumed that there'd be some other argument other than feature gate, because I thought that feature gates were only for alpha beta, not for GA things.
No, there's a document, I think Michelle had sent me a link about how to handle progressing features, and one of the recommendations is to leave them in there, which is interesting. Right.
If that works.
Otherwise, put kubelet in unhealthy state. This will force deployers to pick up new CSI CRD add-on.
Are we putting the entire kubelet in an unhealthy state, or just
the entire kubelet? Just block it. Basically, what we want to do is make a lot of noise and make the deployers update, or make the deployers decide, one, do they want CSI? If they want CSI, then make sure they pick up this add-on. So we want to do this loudly, and instead of silently failing in the future when things aren't there, we want to fail loudly and boldly. So we do need somebody to pick up this item. David Zhu was potentially going to pick it up. I'll have to follow up with him offline. But it was based on the amount of work that he has remaining for his other tasks. Would anyone here be interested in potentially picking it up if David is not able to pick it up?
Would that be for 113 or 1?
Yes, we need this for by Thursday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I can look into it.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, Aman.
Is there? I just think like failing the entire kubelet sounds really catastrophic.
Yes.
What if we is there a way to basically scream out to all of the CSI facing user experiences, like when a user creates a pod that uses CSI, if CRD doesn't work, emit an event, fail provisioning, something like that, or for if during CSI driver deployment, we could do maybe a similar thing of emitting an event.
Yeah, I think the concern that David has is that if we do the silent failure and people don't actually use CSI, when we automatically switch over the entry plugins in 2 quarters to use CSI, that's when they're going to realize, oh shit, we aren't deployed and things blow up. So he would rather that pain be felt like now. Let's get it ready. Let's get people, aware that CSI exists, that it has requirements, and that's it.
At that point, you could do something similar too, of emitting events for the entry for pods using the entry volumes, and say that CSI is having problems. Just seems like it's
right. But the assumption there is that the cluster or the cluster is not going to, like, the nodes aren't going to fail. The failure only happens when somebody goes to use the CSI driver. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, exactly. And it won't be a failure. It won't be a crash.
Right. So then the problem is that what if you have cluster deployers who never touch CSI? It's enabled, but they've never used it. They don't test it. And it just, it exists, but they never use it. And so now if we leave it in that state and then we enable migration, we could potentially, blow everything up. But I agree. I think it's worth talking through.
Yeah.
Saad, what question? Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask a different thing. Why just crashed kubelet, by the way? Because
it's not crashing the kubelet. It's putting the kubelet in an unhealthy state. So that way it's easy the master doesn't blow up. The master starts without issue. So you can still probe the API, but your nodes aren't coming up. And if you do get events on the nodes, you'll see, nodes are not coming up because the CRDs don't exist.
But Saad, the thing that I keep playing in my head is that because CSI will be enabled by default, it also requires the CRDs to be installed by default. Even before we get, so that's what we want, even before we get to the migration plan?
Yes. Like, we want CSI to be ready as a standalone feature before we migrate to it.
Okay.
But I agree. I think Chang is pointing out this is a very big hammer. Let's be careful before we wield it. And it might be safer, or might be sufficient to just do safer and sufficient to just fail at runtime instead of at initialization. I think that makes sense. So Hemant, if David picks this up, you can help review. Otherwise, you can carry it. Chang, are you interested in reviewing or being involved at all?
Yeah, I can take a look as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And one more, maybe possibly more convincing argument is like there are clusters out there that are running only stateless workloads. In that case, do we still want them to worry about having to go through these CSI
I mean,
steps?
they should just disable CSI.
I see. That makes sense.
Basically, if you're opting into CSI, we want you to know this thing is required. You can't opt in and not have this.
The way I'm saying it, thinking is like,
But the default is opt-in, so it's really an opt-out.
It's an opt-out, yeah. You basically, we're going to blow you up. If you don't like it, either add the CRD or opt out.
I think we should give one release before we make it like put the kubelet in not ready state. But I think we can have the discussion on the GitHub issue that I'll open for follow up. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks, Aman. All right. So going back to the CRD installation stuff, this is pretty much good. I still need to follow up on the local up issue. I need to enable the CRD for local up. So that's still an outstanding to do for me today. Otherwise, this should be good to go. It's being installed. It's working in alpha. It's working. It's currently only enabled by default in alpha. Once we enable the beta, then we need to change this logic to automatically install for beta as well. All right, next up is topology support. Anyone able to give an update on that?
Yeah, so there were two pull requests outstanding.
Okay.
One is for adding the validation logic inside kubelet for CSI notifier object, and the other one is the one below. I guess it's not tracked here. Like it's just a small E2E test edition for supporting multiple PVCs. The second one has been merged. First one, we're basically, Michelle and I were basically discussing like whether or not we really need the validation logic, because right now the code inside kubelet already respects the semantic, the set and map semantic. And Michelle's argument is like, is there any additional benefit, to add a validation layer on top of that? And my argument is, well, I think it's still safer that way to have a function like that, to make it explicit what the semantics are, what are the semantics that are being followed in the code, to guard against programming error and things like that.
In terms of officially flipping the beta bit, is there another PR that's going to go out for that, or is there even a bit, or is it just an official designation we have? We'll just call it.
So, I think for CSI node info and CSI driver objects, I think Matt Wong had a question of whether we actually need to move the feature gates to beta, and I basically answered the question is yes.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what his argument for why it was, but it's in one of the issues tracking the feature gates.
So that moves us to the next item, which is moving CSI driver and CSI node info objects to beta. I guess Fabio is out this week. Amanth, are you picking up this work as well, or?
Yeah, I'm looking into it, but Matthew is supposed to be working on it, and there's a holiday in Canada today.
Okay, got it.
So,
cool. So we'll put Matt's name on here, and then maybe Hamantha's back up.
Yeah. HE, by the way, Saad.
Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. Cool. So the PR here was blocked by CRD installation. That's in place. It was impacted by David's changes. Those are in. I think this should be good to go. One thing that I want to make sure is, I think this is that's fine. This should be good to go. So yeah, feel free to take a look at that and go from there.
Yeah, I know that Matthew updated the PR on Friday before going on. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Next up is adding code to check for CRDs. This is new work. We'll get hopefully an update by Wednesday on the status of this. Moving CSI to 1.0 is looking good. The last of the PRs that I am looking into are currently in review, and looks like they've just been approved. So I will go ahead and cut the RC after this meeting. So this is looking good. And then we'll pick up on, so after this is cut, the next items are updating the Kubernetes entry to pick up 1.0. CSI 1.0 RC. Unless somebody else is interested in working on this, I'll go ahead and take this. Okay. I'll go ahead and mark that as preemptively green. That's looking good. This is going to be in progress. Next up is moving CSI RBAC role definitions from Kubernetes to external repos. Any updates on that? I think the last issue was around the snapshotter. Is Patrick on the line by any chance? No, it looks like he is not. And neither is Shing, so we'll have to wait to get a status update on that. This is not a blocker for code freeze because it's external, so not too worried about that. Flaky end-to-end test, we can continue to debug after code freeze. Splitting up driver registrar, is Luis on the line? Okay, let me get and that's all that we're tracking for code freeze. And then we have snapshot work and inline CSI work and CSI block beta. So let's talk about these two since we have the folks for this available. Vlad, any updates on the inline stuff? Are we still tracking it, or?
There's some update. Sergey, and I think Sergey's on the line, and K Fox and myself, we've pretty much spent a lot of time over the weekend on chatting. There is a version of the of the PR out there that have minimal implementation. So we're trying to figure out if it's something we should go ahead and push through the rest of the week, or what to do with it. But
okay,
that's where we are right now.
Yeah, it's not a blocker. So if we make it, we make it. If not, no big deal.
Okay.
I did leave a comment on there, something that David pointed out when he looked at it. I think there was some provisioning logic that we saw in there, and that didn't make sense. So
yeah, so a lot of that is going to go away based on our conversation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. Next up is CSI block beta. Ben, any updates on this?
Well, I did all of the things that I had planned to do, and there's a weird message on the 565 PR from Aish Sundar.
Okay.
I guess that's not linked in here, is it? Crap.
Is this the one we talked about on the feature PR?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to try to paste it in here. Give me a second.
Okay.
What page are you on? It's the other PR, not this one.
Okay.
I don't know.
Can you just paste it
in the chat?
Right? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay, it's in the chat. Yeah, didn't know who David Z627 was, and I didn't understand what Aish was talking about.
Let's see. I haven't seen it since Friday.
Yeah, so I was trying. I was trying to. I guess you had said you had told them you wanted to punt to 114, and then I told them no, we want to keep it at 113, and I don't think they're getting the message.
Yeah, I explicitly told them, hey, we're good. Let's keep it. So I'm not sure why.
So aside from this cryptic message, I think we still have the PR that needs to merge, and it sounds like Misaki needs to do a rebase, and I've pinged him on Slack already to try to get that to happen. But everything is. I mean, my tests are passing. Everything works. We have the placeholder PR for the docs change.
Let me comment on this. Beta,
not only CSI block storage, but block storage in general. Both of them are alpha.
This feature? Is it the same feature?
No, it's not the same feature. This is just strictly CSI.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure where the other one is being tracked. The inline one.
Let's see if we can find it. There's a lot of block volume.
I think it's raw block. It's the top one.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah, it might be because it's quite old.
GitHub cooperate.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it's moving along.
That one's moving along. This is unrelated to the feature discussed with you. This quarter, SIG storage had a goal to move block storage from alpha to beta. A sub-project was to also move the CSI implementation of block storage from alpha to beta. Initially, we thought we didn't have enough resources for moving CSI block, but at Ben, what's your?
B Swartz. I'm B Swartz.
Okay. Volunteered to pick it up. So we are able to deliver it within the 1.13 time frame. Initially, we didn't have enough resources for blocking, so we asked for it to be removed from the 1.13 feature list, but then was volunteered to pick it up and is mostly done. So we are confident that we can deliver it within the 1 point time frame.
Yeah, I mean, all that needs to happen is
Yeah, I think
like
it's
he needs to
done.
do that rebase, and we got to merge it. I think.
Merge.
And I would do the rebase for him, but I don't think GitHub will let me.
Right.
And that's this PR.
Which PR?
68,635.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Merge this. Are there any outstanding end-to-end tests or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
Do we have end-to-end tests for CSI block? We should, if it's moving to beta.
I haven't looked into that, but I can look into it.
Okay, so let's do that. So outstanding items are merge this in PR E2 test PR. Ben is working on this.
And then 6835 Saad is waiting for your approval, by the way.
Okay, cool. I will take a look at that. Okay, I'm not going to be able to monitor this issue closely, so if there's any update that requires my input, could either Ben or Vlad, one of you just ping me on Slack?
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll
Yeah,
do.
I'm watching it.
Okay, cool. So hopefully that gets unblocked. Let me actually paste in the link in here in case you need to follow up on it. Some confusion on feature issue. Okay. CSI migration, we're punting, and we haven't heard anything about cloning or data source other than the design doc this quarter. So I think that's all that I have for today. Is there anything anybody else wants to discuss? Okay, if you're waiting on anybody to get your PRs merged. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Saad. I was just curious. I mean, if you could suggest a model of engaging people for review for inline, because I mean, we will have a PR ready for review within a short period of time. We need to basically start getting like the reviews from higher players like Tim and Jordan and those guys.
Okay. First, let's get a review internally within the storage SIG. So get David Zhu to review it. He's the one who's doing the work for migration. And if he's good with it, then we'll pull Tim in as soon as that's done.
Okay.
You said migrate? Yeah, okay.
For the inline stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
David can help review the inline stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, for anything else that you're blocked on, you need a review, and you're not getting the review attention you need, just ping me on Slack or ping, well, Michelle's out today, but she'll be back tomorrow. So ping either of us and we can help put you in touch with the approvers. Let's target to get things, as many things merged by our Wednesday meeting as possible. That'll put us in a good place for Thursday.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for all the hard work. And this is going to be the last week for getting things in. So,
all right.
See you tomorrow or on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.